Hello guys, today I'm going to make you some really nice Easter treats because it's nearly Easter time and I really love baking at Easter time. We're going to make some Easter bunny bread rolls and that's a really cool recipe for the kids, so let's get started. We're going to start with our usual drill. So if you've watched some of my other videos, you know when we're making some yeasted dough, we always add in our liquid, which in this case is milk. I always use whole milk. I never use anything less than that. I quite like to have the extra bit of fat, but you could easily use any other milk you like. And then some yeast. I use dry active yeast, and you could also use fresh yeast. Just double the quantity of fresh yeast to dry active yeast and you'll have the same sort of ratio. And we always warm this up at an ambient temperature around 37 degrees. I'm going to go for about 2 minutes and I'm going to start at speed 0.5, work my way up to speed 2. And just leave this to warm up so that we can create a really nice environment for our yeast. Next we're going to just add in all of our other ingredients. This is fairly simple now. I'm going to add in my egg. I always use a large egg. My butter, I've kind of cubed it up a little bit. You don't need to really have warm temperature, room temperature butter. You can just use them straight out of the fridge and just cube it up a little bit. It will incorporate perfectly within 2 minutes while you're kneading anyway, because you've warmed up your milk, so there's no need to remember that, because you know what, I would always forget that anyway. Then we're going to add in some sugar because you want to have it nice and sweet. These are sort of sweet rolls that you can make for the whole family. And by the way, if you are not watching this at Easter time and you just want to make this as a nice recipe for the kids, you could just use any other shape you like. With this recipe, it's a fairly standard recipe that you can alter to however you like it, and you can even add in some raisins or other really nice ingredients, some chocolate chips for example, and it makes a really beautiful bun. I'm also going to add in some flour. For this recipe I'm going to be using my 00 flour. Normally I'd advise to use either plain flour or a mixture of plain and strong white flour. Because I really want to have some really nice bread rolls, and actually I want to apparently also drop flour all over the place, but because I really want to have some nice bread rolls, I don't really want them too hard. I want them nice and soft and the right balance. 00 flour gives you the perfect balance because it's not quite plain flour and it's not quite strong white flour. It's sort of in between, and that's really nice. But I've only just recently discovered 00 flour for bread making for myself. So if you don't have access to 00 flour, just use plain flour in this recipe and it will work perfectly well to create some really fluffy rolls. So let's get this kneading, and then once it's kneaded, I'm going to leave this to proof in the bowl for a good hour until it's doubled in size. And I'm going to see you when I show you how to make these lovely little bunnies. Now that we have rested our dough, it's actually doubled in size. I'm going to show you what it looks like. I popped it into my serve bowl so it keeps the temperature nicely. But you could just leave it in your mixing bowl as well. And that's what we want, really nice and fluffy dough. I'm going to use some flour, just a little bit. Pop it on my cool silicone baking mat. You don't have to use this, you can also just do it on the surface, but I love that you basically just reuse it and you don't have to clean your surface afterwards. Pop the dough out. Wonderful. And then we essentially just sort of flatten it a tiny bit, add a tiny bit more flour on top, just because you don't want to hang anywhere. And then you're going to cut your dough into pieces. You want some longer pieces and some shorter pieces because you're going to make some bunny body, then the bunny ears, and also the bunny tail. So we're just going to go half the dough, and then we're going to be making some larger chunks, which are probably about that size. And that's going to be our body. Probably about that, yeah, that should be enough. So we're going to have 6 nice bunny bodies, and then we're going to make smaller pieces for the head, which is about that size. Yeah, that's about right. Don't go too big because you don't want to have a gigantic bunny head. And we're going to have 6 of those. 5. This one's a bit too big. And another one. And then you're going to have 6 small pieces like this for your bunny tail. So all the pieces are now prepared. We've got our large pieces, smaller pieces, and tiny bunny tails. What you're going to do is basically roll the bunny tails into or balls. Just make sure they're all nice and round, all approximately the same size. You could also make much tinier bunnies if your kids are small and you don't want to make gigantic rolls like me. I quite like an adult size roll, but probably that might change very soon actually. And I'll go into the whole kid size portions thing. But here we are, that's 6. I think it could easily make about 8 to 10 if you're going a little bit smaller, okay? Just make sure that the body, which we're going to roll out now, is always about a third size bigger, so almost double the size bigger to the head. So then you should end up with the right sort of size. What we're doing is we're rolling out the body so that we can roll it into a little round snail-like shape. Make sure this part here ends like that because you want to have a little foot, and then that's going to be your tail. The head is going to go a bit like this and like that. Okay, and we're going to show you exactly how to assemble that in a minute. I just want to show you the actual shape, and that is what your bunny will look like. Now we're going to use some egg wash in a second, and then we're going to actually attach these pieces so that they don't float about on our tray. But I'm going to continue with this first, make my individual pieces, and then we can go to the tray. I've prepared all of my little bits and pieces for my bunnies, and I've just actually transferred my mat onto my baking tray, popped the bodies on there, and all I'm going to do is I've used some eggs and a little bit of milk, and I'm going to attach the heads first. So all I'm doing to attach the heads is putting a little bit of egg wash on all of these little bodies on the side. Then I'm going to take a head, try and match it to the size bunny you've created, because you don't want it to be completely out of sync. You don't want a gigantic bunny with a mini head, that'd be weird. And then you're just going to pop them on, sort of attach them a little bit by pressing it in. Make sure it's exactly where your egg wash is so that it doesn't fall off by baking. And then what you do is you take your scissors and you actually cut a nice long bit for the little bunny ears. Is that so cute or what? I'm so into that. So you just cut that in, split it slightly, and then you do that with all of them. Just take your scissors, cut in, split it slightly. Next we're going to cut in some little feet, and this is just a small insertion that you're making right here. You don't have to make that one, it's totally up to you. I'm going to make it on half and not on the other half just to see what it's looking like. And then you're going to attach your bunny tail. Same thing as the head. You're just going to use a little bit of egg wash on its butt, and then you're going to attach the little bunny tail. Once that's all done, you are nearly finished with your bunnies. All I'm doing now is I'm using egg wash again, just to go over the entire body, make sure everything is nicely attached and also glazed with the egg wash, because it's going to make these bunnies really nicely coloured. So just go like that, and then I'm going to do a couple more things just because I find it looks so much better when you do. I'm going to add 1 raisin as the bunny eyes, like that. And you just poke it in a little bit because you've just used egg wash, it's going to stick there nicely. And this last thing is totally up to you and optional. You don't have to do it if you don't have it at home, but I had some pearl sugar at home, and you just use some of that pearl sugar to pop on the bunny tail. It looked just a little bit fluffy and really cute. And once you're done with that, you just leave this covered to proof for another 30 minutes or so while you preheat your oven, and then we're going to pop them in the oven, and I'm going to show you what they look like when they're baked. Look at these lovely fluffy Easter bunny buns. They're super nice. They've just come out of the oven, and you can tell they're just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, the kids would love that. This is a perfect Easter treat, and I'm actually just going to tuck into one straight away to show you just how fluffy they are. I mean, they are really adorable, let's face it. This is just perfect for Easter. And you could serve these with some jam, some clotted cream and jam, some Nutella, some peanut butter, or just as they are, plain. Just gonna show you how fluffy they are. It's beautiful. And then, because I'm a person who likes the really fluffy bits, I'm gonna go right into the middle and then take out the best bit, of course, and try. and it's perfectly yeasted, sweet, not too sweet, nice and fluffy, light, and just the perfect real treat actually for Easter time. So if you want to make something like that for breakfast at Easter time or with the kids, go ahead and follow this recipe and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more amazing recipes, and I'll see you guys next time. Fluffy, 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 fluffy. Sorry.